Or when do I talk? Not on your screen, but all right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's Down the Rabbit Hole. I'm your co-host, Darian, aka Blasheep. Windmoor is your host, but he's a little tied up at the moment, so maybe he'll be joining us. It looks like, if you haven't heard already, there's a petition in the House of Commons right now, and even if you don't agree with it, obviously don't sign it. But this petition already has over 350,000 signatures, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, it doesn't have 350,000. Oh, there you go. That's the updated number. 364,000 signatures. So I think it holds a lot of ground when a lot of the other petitions don't even have 100 signatures. But we, the citizens of Canada, have lost confidence in Justin Trudeau due to their Liberal NDP coalition. And I'm sure you would agree that, that's not a true democracy. And this petition calls on the House to have a vote of non-confidence. So if you haven't signed already, the link is in the description, and go and sign that, and also share it with all your friends and family if you haven't already. And yeah, thank you for signing. So what was that?
Duct tape? Really? Duct tape? Did you have to duct tape me? I know you wanted to pay me back, but duct tape? Really?
Well, yeah. I mean, you messed up big time last week.
Well, yeah, but, well, yeah. I know. I failed so hard. Why didn't anyone tell us in the comments, though?
That's what I'm saying. It was like 2 hours.
2 hours, and it was me talking to myself. Claiming there were other people. I was being a little schizophrenic, I guess. I don't know. People think I'm weird.
They thought you were talking to the voices in your head, I guess.
Oh, man. So you've done the petition? You spoke about the petition?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I just want to reiterate for everybody. Yeah, this is at the House of Parliament. There's a link in the description. If you don't trust the link, it is written right here where you need to type in, and it'll take you to the House of Commons for Canada. If you're a Canadian citizen, please. If you're not, I understand where you'd feel the need to sign something like this, but I believe it's only open to Canadian citizens, and I think it would be better if we kept it that way. If you believe in all the statements that are made in that section right there, which take you like, what, a minute and a half to read, please sign the petition. If you disagree with it, by all means, you can just ignore it, and it's not your problem. Currently, we have 364, 268. Let's try it again. Ooh, we're at 301. So hi, Blasheep. How you doing this week?
Oh, better. I'm not sick whatsoever.
You're not? Well, that's good.
And I'm ready to speak on today's topic.
I'm just checking volumes one more time. I want to make sure you're in there.
Yeah, if anyone's in the in the live that wants to comment and let us know everything sounds all right
Yeah, I hear you.
and everything is working.
All righty. One last thing here. I forgot my corner cam. Bink. There we go.
Is that you?
That's me trying to avoid going down this rabbit hole because I know where I'm going. Anyway, are you ready to do another test?
Yep.
Last week we each got 3 out of 5, I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
Or did you get 4 out of 5 and I got 3 out of 5?
I can't recall.
Yeah, I can't recall either.
I think
So I'm going to
I
say we
think
both
you
got
did.
3 out of 5.
Yeah, let's go with that one. I think I did get one extra one, but I can't remember.
All right. Here we go. You guys can play along too if you're watching. All righty. Question number 1. How are senators chosen? By the Governor General of Canada? By the premiers of all provinces? Appointed by the King? Senators are appointed by the Governor General on the advice of the Prime Minister. I say that one. That's how come we have so many non-liberal liberals in the Senate right now. That's the dumbest thing ever. Now, but I guess it's like the BC party, BC Liberals. They changed their name too, didn't they? What did they change it to? Do you remember?
Oh, so no, I can't remember. I do remember they did change it though.
Yeah. No, I think it was the summer of summer last year. After.
Oh, they're just trying to rebrand it, like the Liberals will probably do so in the next election.
Oh yeah, Trudeau's already started his rebranding. We'll get to that at the end. How is the Prime Minister chosen? The King appoints Prime Minister, the Governor General with the Senate appoints Prime Minister, the leader of the party with the most elected representatives becomes Prime Minister, the MPs vote on Prime Minister. I say it's the leader of the party with the most elected representatives. Name 3 city councillors for Richmond, British Columbia. Oh.
This one is not fair.
This is not fair. I call mulligan on this one. This is totally unfair.
Well, we say we live in British Columbia.
This is true. I did say that, didn't I? Oh, Lord. Richmond. I know it's a very Asian-influenced area. Well, it was when I was out there. I'm
It still
assuming the
is.
same. Okay.
There's a lot of accidents there, and you wonder why.
No, be careful. All right. I don't know. Who do you want to pick? Can you read them?
Yeah, I was gonna go with the first one, but
You're going with
I'm
the first
second
one.
guessing myself.
Yeah, no, Novalsky doesn't sound like a name I would think down there.
Yeah, I'm going with the second option.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the third one.
Because I feel like I've heard Lynn Greenhill before.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But now the next question, I have no idea.
What happened at the Battle of the Plains of Abraham?
Yeah, they didn't teach me that in school, so.
The voyagers battled with the British fur trade, right? Americans fought the United Empire Loyalists during the American Revolution. The British defeated the French, marking the end of France's empire in America.
That doesn't sound. I'm gonna go with the fourth one, probably. The French defeated the British in the Battle for Quebec. Maybe.
I'm gonna go with the first one. You're going with
Right.
the third one, or the fourth one?
The last one, yeah. The French defeated the British in a battle for Quebec.
Yeah, it could be. I think you're right, but I'm gonna go with the first one because this just seems older than that to me. I don't know why. When must a federal election be held? About every 4 years on the third Monday of October. Every 4 years following the most recent general election. Whenever
We
the
had this
prime minister.
question
Yeah,
last
we had.
week.
Yeah, on the third Monday in October. All right, let's see how we did. Oh Lord.
It's gonna be bad. We're gonna be moving to the
4 out of 5.
oh. Well, I
Senators. Yeah,
screwed
we
up.
got the first one. Um, we both got the second one. Oh, I got that one right. Woo!
Oh wow. You got it right, it says.
Oh, we both screwed up this number 4.
Oh. See, I didn't think that made any sense. I didn't think I didn't think the Francis Empire was taken down, but
Yeah, I guess it was.
okay.
Interesting.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah. And we both
And we
got
got the
this one.
freebie.
Yeah.
Yeah, freebie.
Let's go back and try again. There, that'll leave that there. So anyway, today's topic. I would like to make reading this article, and the article is irrelevant. I mean, we can talk about the article if you want afterwards or whatever, or, before I move on too far here. But this one comment caught my attention this week. And in this comment, I see everything wrong with democracies around the world, and including in Canada. And it seems like such a benign little statement. I have not yet, in my time in this building, seen any piece of legislation come forward pinned on conversations that happened at the grocery store. Matt Love is the one that said this. That's not how legislation is made in this province, or really any other democratic jurisdiction. Now, I have a lot wrong with that statement, but I'd like to hear your opinions on that statement. I know you already know mine, so it's going to be a little biased. I'm sorry. But I'd like to hear yours.
Well, my problem with the statement is that it basically states that it doesn't, the elected individuals aren't listening to the people that elected them. They are listening to some other power.
Right. It's these conversations at the grocery store. They're what actually matter in Canada. Well, I'm going to use Canada. I mean, I know this guy's a provincial MPP for Saskatchewan, Matt Love. But I'm gonna expand this comment out to nationally. Okay, but it can be used for every level of government, all the way down to municipality. Um, this whole idea that legislation does not come forward pinned on the conversations that happen at a grocery store is a serious problem, because that's exactly where they are. That's how legislation comes to be, is because of these conversations at grocery stores. And if that's not how we're getting our conversations, well, then that says that democracy is a farce.
Right. Yeah. Let's read it out. He said, I have not yet, in my time in this building, seen any piece of legislation come forward pinned on conversations that happen at the grocery store. He said, that's not how legislation is made in this province, or really in any other democratic jurisdiction, meaning any other democracy.
Yeah. So where does the legislation get pinned from? If not from these conversations. Grocery store is a general term with the public. Members of the public speaking with you. That's the whole basis of what democracy is. And this is a serious problem. When you're not listening to people at the grocery store, well then we're not talking to each other and we end up with stupid stuff like this. Dozens of turkeys stolen from New Brunswick grocery store. Because you're making policy without talking to anybody at the grocery store. Now, I mean, this is New Brunswick and this is Saskatchewan, but the principle is the same. The story here, it's not really the topic of this video, but no evidence that Saskatchewan consulted about pronoun policy despite Premier Education Minister's claims and documents, whatever. Now, I don't know everything about what this legislation entailed in Saskatchewan. I'll give you what I understand it entailed is Scott Moe decided that, hey, maybe parents do need to be part of the consultation, part of the process and the decision making when it came to what's happening with their children. Okay? It's kind of important because, well, it's not like these teachers are the ones that have to deal with this child when. Actually, let me figure out how I'm going to say this. My brain, I had a way of thinking about this and then I just completely lost it. Anyway, think of it this way. The teachers and the child are deciding what kids are going to, well, sorry, let me rephrase that. The teachers are allowing the children to decide their own person, make decisions for themselves, serious decisions for themselves in a classroom without consent or informed consent or informed anything to the parents. Okay, well, I wonder if these teachers would be the same when when one of these kids turned around and decided, you know what, I'm not going to bathe today. Would these teachers be okay with that too? Children don't make the best decisions. That's why we don't give them these powers because they don't make the best decisions at their age because they don't have a full concept of what everything means yet.
Yeah, their brain isn't fully developed.
Yeah, it's not developed enough.
They don't know anything.
They're discovering.
Know nothing. Yeah.
They discover by making mistakes, like all of us.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of what I figure Scott Moe is talking about. Parents need to be involved in this because when that kid turned around and said, you know what, I don't want to bathe anymore, the parent went, yeah, I think you're getting in that bathwater right now. Because the parents know, hey, you need to get in the bath. Maybe when you grow up, you'll like showers, but right now, get in that bath. Right? Like,
well, what they're seeing is from their point of view is if the parent is abusive, then they don't have an open space to open up about themselves.
But if the parent's abusive, that's going to come down in different ways. We do have laws against abusive parents.
Yeah. And how, like, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but how do you think those laws turn out? Like, does it actually work? Do abusive parents actually, are they still taking care of their children even if they're abusive, even if they're proven to be abusive?
I don't know. What do you think? I don't want to read any of these because that leads into other troubles. I really don't need to.
Oh, Trudeau already dislikes us.
Look at this. Look at this one. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Canada, this father lost rights to his child. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and this is in Canada.
But we look back now, can we still say he was making a bad decision? With what
What's
we
he
know
doing?
now, okay, maybe it's not an agreeable decision, and that's a fair comment. It may not be agreeable, but was it a bad decision? That's. See, I notice this in government a lot. Okay, they think that legislation needs to come from consultants and uh, studies and everything. Well, some things we don't need a study for, or we don't need um, consultants to figure out. Like, okay, I know I'm making this as basic as possible, but here, do we really in Canada need to be told that we're going to have a cold and snowy winter? Be realistic here. If you live anywhere other than in Vancouver Island or in Vancouver, is this not just normal, status quo, people, common knowledge? Yeah, maybe not to newcoming Canadians, but to Canadians that live here and that have been here. You can ask any one of us.
Okotoks. You know that's just outside of Calgary.
Is it? You can
Yeah.
ask any one of us at the grocery store what winter's like in Canada, and this is what they'll tell you. Is it
Mm-hmm.
really Okotoks? I didn't even notice. I
So,
just looked.
it is interesting. I don't think we've ever had a year where we haven't had a few snowfalls. It's
And
not
it,
new.
and it wasn't cold. Like,
Yeah.
Canada's an Arctic nation. There's a reason the U.S. said, you want to stop it at the 49th parallel? We're good now. You can keep everything above there. There's a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's why Canada's population is so low, is because we're too damn cold for most people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
I'm
hey,
freezing right now.
let's all move to Siberia, get our suntan.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
the reason they're putting articles like this is just to promote the climate hysteria. They make
well,
you
that
scared of the environment.
yeah, but the Farmer's Almanac, I mean, that's been going back. That goes back like almost a century, I'd say at least. It used to be a little book that you could buy, the Farmer's Almanac. This I see more as for the new Canadians going, hey, yo, because realize this was posted in September, and a lot of the new Canadians they didn't know what they were in for. So when they bring out
Mm-hmm.
stuff like this, it's I mean that's actually very good information for a new Canadian to receive. But to an average Canadian, you're just gonna be like, yeah, that's Canada. We didn't need a study for this. You could have asked us at the grocery store, and we would have told you the same thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to this, that's not how legislation is made in this province or any other democratic jurisdiction. So then that just leaves me one question. Well, in order to conduct these studies and this consulting, I mean, what is that, McKenzie? Where are they based out of?
Who?
McKenzie. McKenzie and Company. Let's just put that and just see where it says it is. McKenzie. Where are you based out of? Chicago, Illinois, United States. Okay, they're a consulting company that the government likes to use to create policy in Canada. Okay, so that tells me that how you make legislation is having consultants that are not Canadian. You don't want to talk to anybody at the grocery store. You'd rather talk to people like McKinsey. Okay? And the way you propagate this is stuff like this. I'm going to show this. I'm not sure if this is the right place to throw this in, but I'm going to throw this in right now. Just because it goes to show that we take more advice from people that have nothing to do with Canada than we do about Canadians. Now, for those that don't know, and if you're on this channel and you don't know, I mean, I don't know what to say. This is the Public Order Emergency Commission that was held last year. It was day 30 of testimonies on November 24th, 2022. This is Krista Freeland, our finance minister at the time and currently, speaking on a letter here that she or an email, or no, sorry, a conversation she had. These are the notes of her conversation. The conversation she had with then economic advisor to the President of the United States. I'm going to play this for about a minute, maybe a little more. I can't remember exactly where I'm going to stop it, but I'll know it when I hear it.
And I'll just say a bit of a disclaimer, just in case you get triggered. Viewer's discretion is advised.
Triggered. Oh. In case the
Hi,
Tourette's
Krista.
wears off. I don't know. I think she has a nerve issue. I don't know. I'm not her doctor, nor do I give a crap. That's her problem, not mine.
February 10th, so this is you, Mr. Freeland, writing. You say, he called me. They are very, very, very worried. If this is not sorted out in the next 12 hours, all of their northeastern car plants will shut down. He said that he supposed that this proved the point that we'd made previously to them about how closely integrated our economies are. He did not seem to see this as a positive. He asked what he could do to help us. I said, tow trucks? Make your point about banning travel to the US for participants public, arrange a call between the PM and the president, and then you say he was aware of points 1 and 2, tow trucks and banning travel, and said he would push on both. He was supportive of the idea of a call and would try and make it happen. So can you flesh out that summary a little bit of what Mr. Deese was conveying to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think, can you move up a little bit? Just, I think the second sentence, he said that this proved the point about how integrated our economies are, and he didn't seem to see this as a positive. He brought that up. And you have to kind of bear in mind, I have been bugging the guy, and Canadians have been nagging Americans since the fall. And we've been saying, guys, you don't understand Canada. You don't understand how integrated our economies are. This approach you're taking to the EVs, it's completely counterproductive for you because we work so closely together. Those parts, they cross the border 6 times. We've been saying this over and over. And so he comes back at me and he says, yeah, okay, like you've made the point. We get it. And it was a surprise to him, actually, the extent to which their car industry was dependent on the trade with Canada. But that was a dangerous moment for Canada, I felt. Very, very dangerous. Because the US then and now, as part of their own soft landing from COVID, something that is happening there is a real move to protect the supply chains of the United States. The same supply chain challenges I was talking about earlier as affecting Canada affected the US. And I think we have all seen a very strong push this year by Americans to insulate their supply chains, particularly from China. I'm very worried about the semiconductors, but more broadly, COVID brought alive to them the vulnerability of their supply chains. And this was so worrying to me because I could see, really for the first time ever, the Americans having this amber light flashing in Canada. And this amber light that said to them, you know what? The Canadian supply chain could be a vulnerability too. And that's a problem for us because there are plenty of Americans, both Democrats and Republicans, who would love any excuse to impose more protectionist measures on us. So that line to me, it jumped out at me. It made me really, really worried. And I really understood at that point that the danger wasn't just the danger of it wasn't just the immediate damage. It wasn't just the immediate harm. It wasn't, this plant loses 4 days of operation. The danger was, were we in the process as a country of doing long-term and possibly irreparable harm to our trading relationship with the United States?
Okay, there's a lot in there. And, she's not wrong. It was harmful to the trade relation with the U.S. But I'm not sure why that comment would authorize you to take the extreme measures that you did. You're again taking the advice of someone not from Canada. Meanwhile, people are doing stuff like this, and you're ignoring them. You're ignoring them. Oh yeah. You ignore them so that you could listen to someone else of a different nation tell you how to handle the situation that you created in Canada. Okay, and it was Canadian citizens that were saying, enough of your nonsense. All you had to do at that point is say, you know what, we hear you. Yeah, maybe we'll back off. And all of it would have been gone. Every ounce of it would have been gone. Matter of fact, well, they did have the borders cleared before you invoked, but you still did it anyway. But you created the situation that terrified you and forced you to enforce draconian measures on your own people and you couldn't even take the time to listen to them. So how is legislation created in this country, in any democratic society, if you can't take the time to listen to your own people? You're telling me that Canada is not run by Canadians. Wonder who it's run by. I don't know. I think there should be a study somewhere around mid-January or something. Figure out where all the influence is coming from. What do you think?
Well, it's pretty obvious where it's coming from.
But don't Canadians basically rule Canada? We dictate what happens in Canada, right?
In a democratic society.
In a democratic society. So when we say, hey, we need to cut our ties with China, that means we're going to cut our ties with China, right? Once touted as solution to China and rare earth market, Northwest Territories project is now taking Chinese investment. So who's dictating what's happening in Canada?
China.
Well, we got China, we got
that organization.
This woman, as a board member for this organization, listening to the U.S. president on how to deal with a problem that she created. Well, not she, but I mean her government, the Liberal government. Here, it'll be him. He created it. We'll get to that one in a minute. Okay, you're listening to these people. You're listening to China when they say they want to invest in our rare earth market. When the Canadian citizens told you no more of this, we need to stop this. What does sovereignty mean? What does sovereignty mean to you?
sovereignty means something that is independent from outside meddling. Put it lightly.
That's fair. That's fair. I see
What-
sovereignty like a nation. Yeah, you're independent to live your life as you see fit. Um, I keep thinking there's a fly on my phone, and all it is the background because I've shrunk the screen down just a little bit. Sorry. To everyone else that's smacking a fly off their screen, I'm really sorry about that. I'll see what I can do about that next time. But anyway, here's a sovereignty by a legal information institute based out of the U.S.
Wait,
Sovereign.
press the two at the top right. Press the two windows like in the middle of the X and the dash.
What? What? What?
Top right of the window. There's like the two like in the middle of the X.
This one?
Like yeah, that one. Yeah, press that.
No, I don't want to push that. I have other stuff
think-
in the background that's really not for this stream. So
I think if you press that, it'll go to the full screen. But
no, I actually shrunk it in OBS so that
okay.
it's just I just catching the top of his head as he's skating there. I wanted
So
the
you keep seeing.
yeah.
Yeah, I see
it. You see it now?
Yeah.
Anyway, from a legal information, a legal site here in the or not here in the U.S. I'm going to use because well, hey, if she can take advice from the U.S., I can use their definition of what sovereignty means. Okay, because this is what I believe in sovereignty in Canada. Sovereignty is a political concept that refers to dominant powers or supreme authority. In a monarch, supreme power resides in the sovereign or king. In modern democracies, sovereign power rests with the people and is exercised through representative bodies such as Congress or Parliament.
Frosty Broccoli says, "Hey, you're live. Good evening, sir."
Well, good evening, Frosty. How you do? So, if sovereignty rests with the people and exercised through representative bodies such as Parliament or Congress, we're going to go with Parliament because I'm Canadian. Let's see how Canada describes democracy. Democracy is a system of government. It is also a societal system. Yeah. It embraces inclusion and equity and can facilitate an environment that respects human rights and fundamental freedoms. In this system, people exercise free will. This includes decisions that affect their lives. That's the government of Canada.
Doesn't
stating
that
that.
sound amazing?
Doesn't
Yeah.
that sound like what democracy is? But you don't listen to people in the grocery store. But it just said right here, a system people exercise free will. But she listened to a prime minister in order to attack a Canadian citizens. Ooh, wrong one. Interesting.
I'm not sure if the Liberal government has followed any of that statement as to what our democracy is.
Yeah, pretty much.
A better quality of life? Nope.
Nope.
A more equitable, gender equal, and inclusive society. Only if you agree with the government.
And if you're not a white male. White
That
straight
is
male.
correct. Yep, so neither of us.
No. We're not included in that equity.
We're at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. We're the minority these days, like
Hmm.
For a government that wants to fight about minorities, well, hey, white straight males apparently is a minority these days.
And the next is greater security and stability nationally and globally. And I would say that that has not been a thing, especially with China meddling in the elections and having police stations in
Yep.
Canada.
And
I
now
don't think,
buying part of our rare earth market,
which is insane.
9.9% stake in vital metals. This was the same day that no, that wasn't no. Where was it? What was I
Frosty
after?
Broccoli says small fringe minority. That's us.
That is us. So that was just like 2 days ago. Yesterday? Yesterday
Yep,
that this was
that was
posted.
yesterday.
And you remember back in the spring, we were kicking China out of Canada's rare earth elements, our vital metals. But now the Northwest Territories is now taking Chinese investment. I what? What? Did you have that conversation in a grocery store? I don't think so. But in case we're not clear on exactly what democracy in Canada is, this is from Elections Canada, or Canada Elections, whatever. Elections can they get their name right? Am I seeing things, or is it said backwards here?
It says Elections Canada, yeah.
Okay. And Canada Elections. Oh, no, no. Okay, I understand now. Sorry. I misunderstood for a minute there. I was like, what? What? I misunderstood for a minute.
You're confusing me.
Well, I was reading Elections Canada, and I know them as Elections Canada, but when I looked
Yeah.
on the screen, all I could see was Canada's elections. I'm like, what? What?
What?
My brain
They
was,
changed their name.
yeah, they flipped their name around. Anyway, from Elections Canada, this is what Canada's parliament is. Canada is a representative democracy. Now, this is the important part. That means the citizens elect to the House of Commons representatives who, along with the Senate, appointed by the Prime Minister, not a big fan of that one, make laws and decisions for the country and its people. Some of our asks are based on unwritten traditions, like carrying the mace from the Senate to House of Commons. That's an unwritten, well, tradition. I'm not sure if it's unwritten, but yeah. Stuff like that. But basically, um, the representatives means the citizens elect House of Commons representatives who, along with the Senate, yeah. So the citizens elect representatives. Oh, I got these out of order when I was talking about sovereignty. I was like, oh, I meant to bring this up. Canada's 1982 makes Canada a completely sovereign nation. Yes, we still have the king there, but it's more ceremonial than it is actually anything to do with Canada's sovereignty. Canada's sovereignty is Canadians only. So Canada is supposed to dictate what happens in Canada, and because of our type of government, the citizens elect representatives to make laws and decisions for the country and its people. And, well, how do these representatives know which laws and decisions need to be made for its people if you're not having conversations at the grocery store? If the only conversations you're going to have are with the Prime Minister, with the economic advisor to the President of the United States, or maybe China wants to buy out some of our rare earth market in vital metals, when we said no more of that, hence spending taxpayer dollars to prop this project up. Or maybe her being on the board of directors for these guys is not, where is it? A representative of Canadians. I don't know. Do you think it's a representative of Canadians?
No.
So far, I haven't seen too much action by the government that is actually speaking with Canadians. Hey, wasn't the speaker found to have fraudulent letters about speaking with some people?
Very recently, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what that was about. I don't even know where to look up. Wait a second here. No, it wouldn't be under fraudulent. Fake. Let's do that. Fake letters from... Let's try that. Wasn't that in the news just recently? New rules announced. Curb International Student Fund. What's his name? Ferguson?
Who, the speaker?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
No,
Or maybe not.
that's definitely not what I'm looking for. That's definitely not what I'm looking for.
Oh well, we get your point.
Yeah, anyway, there was a thing about fake letters from citizens.
I'll try looking it up.
Yeah, if you can find it for me, that'd be awesome. That would be really, really good. I'm trying to get caught back up to where I am. Is that this? Yes, that's this. Okay. You even go to the House of Commons and its definition of how our government works. The Canadian Constitution. The Crown is the head of state representing Canada by the Governor General. Okay, but like I said, it's kind of ceremonious. The executive branch is basically the same thing as the Crown, but ceremonially they answer to the Crown, but it's basically the exact same thing as the Crown. But the legislative branch, wow, there's that word again. Legislative. I've seen that before. Where did I see that? That's not how legislation is made in this province or really any other democratic jurisdiction. Legislative branch.
Wow.
Interesting. So what does the legislative branch consist of? It consists of the Senate, which is supposed to be the House of second opinion, but basically it's the Prime Minister's voice over here. And I guess, to be fair, the Conservatives have been using their side as well in the Senate. So it's kind of like a battle between the Liberals and the Conservatives on who wins the Senate. Because there's no NDP in there, and there's no Bloc, and there's no Green Party or PPC members in the Senate. There is none. It's Liberals and Conservatives and that's it. You can call yourself non-liberal, party, independents, whatever you want, but you're liberals. We all know it.
Yep.
The only people you're fooling is our prime minister. Um, it's the dumbest thing ever. But the House of Commons, and there's a reason it's called the House of Commons. It's because it's supposed to be the House of the people. That's where it gets its name from. It's the lower chamber. Members elected to represent the people from their electoral districts.
Frosty Broccoli is angry.
What are you angry for, man? What you all angry for? That doesn't look like angry. It looks like hard eyes. Maybe not. I could be wrong.
Oh, on my screen it's a grumpy face.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Okay. I'm old, and it's tiny on my phone. So if they're elected to represent the people from their electoral district, are you telling me Matt Love, Mr. Matt Love, NDP, opposition MP in Saskatchewan Parliament, or is this called a parliament? Provincial parliament?
It's a provincial
Legislature?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Get my wording right, because you know how they are. Oh, he said this!
And now Frosty Broccoli said, liberals and conservatives are equally corrupt, with one just as flipping bad as the other. I'm absolutely not liberal or conservative, and both the corrupt globalist parties can go screw themselves.
I'll agree with that statement, except for the part, I am a liberal. I still stand firmly. I am a liberal. But I'm not a member of the Liberal Party, nor would I ever support anything to do with this Liberal Party of Canada, because it has nothing to do with liberal. They are not liberal in any way, shape, or form. They claim to speak to the people. What?
Yeah, they're farthest from a liberal. Like
Yeah.
The Conservative Party are more liberal than they are.
Oh, by far. By far. So, get caught back up where I was there. Members elected to represent the people from their electoral districts. So Matt Love, NDP opposition critic for the Saskatchewan legislature, you have claimed that speaking a conversation at a grocery store is not how legislation is made in this province, or really any other democratic jurisdiction. When it says right in, well, I mean, this is government. This is federal and you're provincial, so technically, but you're based off of this concept. You have the premier right here. You have your House of Commons or your legislature. I'm not sure if you would have a Senate. I don't think you do. I think it just stops right here. I don't think there's like a Senate style thing for provinces. I could be wrong. Do you know?
For provincial, I think it's just straight up yeah, there's no Senate. Because I've never heard Danielle Smith or anyone mention, like, oh, we have taken it to the Senate, or it's gone to the Senate. So I think that's just federal.
They just have Senate seats. Senate seats in the federal government. They don't have a Senate of their own. Okay.
Interesting.
So you don't have a Senate. You basically have the executive branch and you have the legislative branch. And in the you are currently a member of the legislative branch first. And you claim that speaking at a grocery store is not how.
Oh, you're cutting out.
Oh, am I? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna move my mic there. So no,
Frosty Broccoli said, one can be liberal-minded and not support the Liberal Party. Most people aren't aware of the definition of the words they use. That I can definitely agree with.
yeah, I'm not conservative, but I am liberal. I know I am. I I believe everyone has a right to exist and exist in their own happiness. Um,
I think a lot of us can agree with that.
yeah. Even uh, as much as everybody will absolutely hate me for what I'm about to say, I even believe Trudeau deserves the right to live in his own happiness. I have no qualms with the person. I have qualms with his ability to do this job. I have qualms in his ability to listen to Canadians. I have qualms in him acting like a child and trying to say he represents us. That I have major problems with. But him as a person, I really don't care. Go live your life, dude. Take your toys, go home. I don't care. Just go away. Don't go away mad, just go away so the adults can fix what you've caused. Anyway, back to this comment about Matt Lowe. Matt Love. I keep wanting to call him Matt Lowe. I don't know why. Is that an actor or something?
Oh, I don't know. That doesn't sound familiar.
Okay. So he doesn't believe that talking to people at the grocery store is how legislation should be pinned. How any piece of legislation come forward pinned on conversations that happen at a grocery store. That's not how legislation is made, he says. But it says right here, members elected to represent the people from their electoral districts. So Mr. Matt Love, have you gone to your grocery store and spoke to anybody about this topic? To Krista Freeland, when she stood up in the Public Order Emergency Commission, or when she was helping make the decision with this dude on whether to attack Canadian citizens at the border, right at the border in Ottawa. Um, did they speak to any of the Canadians that were the millions of Canadians that supported us?
No.
I don't understand like how is legislation made? Is democracy a farce? You basically saying right in that one sentence that democracy all around the world is a complete farce. It's all a lie and it's all smoke and mirrors. Mr. Matt Love, I thank you for speaking the truth for once. But as a Canadian who lives under this tyrannical ideal that you have just laid out in front of us, Mr. Matt Love, this tyrannical ideal here that you just laid out in front of us, manipulating people to believe in a democratic society, saying that you cannot speak to people at the grocery store, everyday people in your area, to develop legislation that destroys the ideal of democracy. You make a mockery of the position you hold by making this statement. Because the only people that actually matter in any study and every piece of legislation should be the people you're talking to at the grocery store. All your decisions, because your whole position in this legislative body, your position in that place is pinned by members representing the people from your electoral district. but you tell them you don't listen to them. That's not how legislation is made. In any other democratic jurisdiction. It's so insulting to every Canadian, to every free-minded person around the world. People that are coming to this country based on the ideal of what democracy is and what Canada stands for and what freedom is. You basically spit in their face and tell them, yeah, come on in. Yeah, we'll take your vote and we'll go do what we want. Whoever's got the most money will dictate how we rule. Maybe it's the most influence. Or maybe our neighbors' ambitions are more important than Canadians.
You know, none of the mainstream media outlets went to that conference when Krista Freeland went.
Which
None
conference?
of the mainstream. The last conference from that other tab that I don't want to mention their name.
Oh, this one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the last conference. Krista Freeland went, and another minister, I think. And
Champagne
all
went.
that. Yeah. And none of the mainstream media outlets reported on it.
Yeah, that's not surprising. They do try and hide on this website when she spoke. Here, let me see if I can get to it here. See, if you notice, every single one of these has a day and a date that they spoke at the hearing. Okay, there's all the dates and all the hearings, and every single one of these has a day and a date. And then you get all the way down. Where is it? Minister Krista Freeland, Deputy Prime Minister and Finance. Where's the date?
Oh.
You see this?
That's interesting. That's the only one without a date.
It's the only one without a date. Even the Prime Minister is in there. Sorry, go ahead.
Correct me if I'm wrong though, but didn't it come out that she had an earpiece on the whole time? Meaning she was like getting told what to say?
I have no idea.
That's what I heard at the time.
That. Oh God, it went all the way back to the beginning. Oh God, I'm not. No. We're not doing that.
I think we should go to what Trudeau said now.
You think we should go to what Trudeau said? All right. First things first, before I go to this little video clip that I picked up from yesterday of our Prime Minister, I need to go back to the Government of Canada's website about online disinformation because I want to be properly informed so that when I spot a lie being perpetrated on purpose, that I can learn to spot it. And it is my goal to show the world when I see disinformation that my government has decided to propagate. Okay, so I'm going to use their own definition. Disinformation spreads online, causing harm to Canada and Canadians. Learn how to identify and fact-check disinformation. What is online disinformation? Disinformation is false information that is deliberately intended to mislead. It is sometimes called fake news. Misinformation is false information that is shared without intention of misleading. Okay. Now, the convoy left Ottawa in February of 2022. This commission heard in November of 2022, October and November. I can't remember the exact date now. All the official information. Matter of fact, November 3rd, 2022, City News. City News, Ottawa, not exactly the most conservative newscaster, but, you know, I could say they're very progressive.
Play the clip. Play the clip.
All right. Fine. Here we go. Listen to his words.
The other thing is, I think the American right has increasingly noticed that Canada is a bit of a people and stories that overlap and connect, and it's just part of our North American landscape that we absorb.
It backed up.
The other thing is, I think the American right has increasingly noticed that Canada is a bit of a challenge to them, because they've been busy saying, oh, well, maybe they could do certain things in Sweden and in different countries, but it won't work in the United States. It won't work in America, where we have a particular thing. And then you have a country like Canada that is succeeding in banning assault-style rifles, for example, assault-style weapons.
Forcing that.
Succeeding in having, health care that everyone gets to access, and we have for a long time.
If you got 12 hours in an
these are
emergency
proof
room.
points that are not sort of distant, totally alien countries, but it's closer.
Stopped right
And
at
it
where
is
it was.
a direct challenge to them, and also a direct opportunity that if they can, I mean, the
Here it
convoy,
is.
for example, had a huge amount of American money flowing into Canada to encourage that kind of I think part of it was, hey, let's see if we can actually succeed in destabilizing the Canadian liberal country.
Right.
Wow.
It found that 80% of all the donations to the main GoFundMe campaign originated in Canada, and 11% came from the United States. Yeah. Our Prime Minister, look at the date here, December 19th. December
That's
19th.
yesterday.
That was yesterday. Well, I mean, I'll give credit. This could have been done any time in the last week. Okay, last week or so, somewhere in that ballpark. Because, not everyone posts immediately after they record it. They want to go through it. I'm sure Trudeau's team wanted to go through it before. Well, I'm surprised they let that go, but yeah.
They don't mind spreading disinformation. That's the thing. They don't. And time again, they do it every day.
So, was that misinformation? Not intended to mislead? Or was that disinformation, which is intended to mislead? Because you look at his words very, very carefully. He said there were lots of funds coming into Canada. Right? Vast amounts of U.S. funds coming into Canada. Well, this was $10 million, and 86% of it came from Canadians, so that's $8.6 million came from Canadians, and 11% was from the U.S., so that means $1.1 million came from America. And then when the Give, Send, Go came out, of the nearly 10 million raised through the main Give, Send, Go campaign, 47% originated from Canada, and 47% from the United States. Is this what he's saying? Because this is what he's implying in reverse.
Right.
Without adding that context in himself, he knew very well what he was saying in that moment. And that, especially seeing as it has been a year, this is November 3rd of 2022, he was at that commission where it was said that the money came from Canadians. That is blatant disinformation. Disinformation is false information that is deliberately intended to mislead. It is sometimes called fake news. Prime Minister of Canada,
Fake news.
just yesterday, allowed this video to be published of him saying that the majority of the money to the convoy came from Americans, which is not true in either statement. I would say 50-50 here. So that's 4.7 million and 4.7 million. Is that misinformation? False information that was shared without intending and misleading? Or was it disinformation? Information that was deliberately intended to mislead. By the way he worded that.
And take what happened with Roe versus Wade.
Yeah. No.
Like, a particular thing. And then you have a country like Canada that is succeeding in.
What?
I almost want to hear him comment on Roe versus Wade, because he commented on that when it happened, and he was spreading disinformation in of itself at that time as well. And he probably did it again there because, a lot of people were misinformed on it, thinking that, it meant it was completely banned, or, like you couldn't get an abortion anywhere, but it just left it to every individual state instead of becoming federal law that every state would have to legalize abortion. Right?
Yeah, that's actually what the U.S. Supreme Court did, says the federal government doesn't have jurisdiction here. That's up to the states. And that's all Roe versus Wade was about. That's it.
Trudeau said it was, but Trudeau said it was like,
I can back it up there. I'm going to have to find it again, but I just want to get him to repeat this one more time.
Around, far-right MAGA-ism.
When you look back.
Oh my goodness.
Closer. And it is a direct challenge to them and around, far-right MAGA-ism.
No.
Yeah, no, it'll be good to have a bit of a buffer. So huge amount of American money flowing into Canada to encourage that kind of, I think part of.
Huge amount of money flowing into Canada. $4.7 million is not a huge amount.
But also the statement that he said that it was to destabilize our government.
No, it was Canadians were there already by the time the Give, Send, Go campaign came in. We were already there. We weren't going anywhere. What do you mean they tried to destabilize us? He's blaming America for all the problems in Canada. But yet, this one, she went running. Let me see if I can get up. She took the advice of the American financial advisor to the president to justify declaring the Emergencies Act. Yet he's crying that it's Americans that are trying to destabilize Canada. Your comments here, talking about Republicans and such, could be taken in your own context and say you're trying to destabilize America while their election is coming up right now. Am I wrong?
No, I wouldn't say that you are. They go against the same things that they spew. It's only okay if they do it. Right?
I don't really want to play this.
Oh
Hold
man,
on.
I want to hear it. I don't know if I heard this one.
Oh, I got to get through the commercial.
What's up?
Hi, Jira.
Give me
We
a
brought you
second.
here today.
We all know about
Just give me a minute here.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen this one.
I want to.
I s-
This is a presidential candidate. Speaking about Trudeau.
Twitter. Ramaswamy expressed his appreciation
Oh,
for
hold on. I don't want to do this.
Trudeau in the country.
Let me tell you something. Truckers in this country, they're the backbone of our country. It's not just about moving things from place to place. That's our entire
Amen.
supply chain. That's how our economy runs. That's how we're able to live our modern way of life. You want to talk about supply chain shortages? Part of that is because of making life much more difficult for truckers to be able to do their jobs. It's also people who've been on the front lines of standing for liberty. Remember that Canadian convoy of truckers who bravely stood up against those vaccine mandates? Well, the Canadian government revealed how authoritarian they really are, silencing those truckers with censorship, even seizing or freezing their personal bank accounts. That was wrong. And I respect those who, through their civil disobedience, revealed civil overreach on the part of government, administrative overreach.
Okay, I don't want to play that too much because, copyright nonsense and all that. But he's right, like this is what our government, this man did, and now he's claiming that it was the Americans' money coming in that caused it. He's giving you flat disinformation. He's deliberately intending to mislead you on it. Okay? This interview is such a laid-back, different side of Trudeau. He's not angry for once. God, it's been a long time since I've said that. He's just laid back, and it's actually a really cool conversation. This is the work, obviously, of the new communication director in the PMO office, whatever the heck his name is. You need to get out and do a little more softer talks with people. Da da da. Oh, okay. I got this buddy Terry. We usually do one every year. Let's go do one. That's probably how this came about. Because you look at the setting.
Polyev. Yeah, he kind of looks like Pierre Polyev. Like he looks cleaner. He's wearing a, regular shirt, and he's just like has his one arm on the chair. Just, oh yeah, I'm just speaking to Canadians. Yeah. yeah, that's it. I'm speaking to my friend here. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not at all spreading disinformation in the process.
I want to show you in this video as well. Okay, you know how we're always saying, Trudeau controls every aspect of everything that's going on. They actually asked this question in this. Oh, do you control everything? And he says, no. On the major issues, I do, but for the most part, I just leave it to everyone else. And if there's a screw up in it, and I need to speak on it, then you really screwed up. But I want to show you something here. Where is it? Let me just give me a sec. I just gotta find it. Oh, did I pass it? Yes, I did. Okay. I'm just gonna play for a second here.
we should do, and then you get to make the last decision?
No, obviously not.
No.
First of all, the amount of work that goes on is so massive that would bog everything down. And one of the things that I deliberately set out to do in 2015 was change the approach from Stephen Harper's approach, which was very much a rigid top-down approach that was sorry, they're talking a little loud.
Yeah, they are. It's very distracting.
See, he's literally talking about delegating stuff, and what's he do? He jumps up and goes over there to tell them to be quiet.
Wow.
Top down, basically. The exact opposite of what he's actually saying here. He's got people right there behind the camera to do this job, but he jumps up and goes and does it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you can hear him.
Yep.
The
He
boss
said,
is
can you guys
telling
maybe
people to be
not
quiet.
talk too loud? Bro, I'd want to talk louder. Oh, I wish I was there.
Like, I was just like, really, dude? Really? Your timing is beautiful on this one, dude. Is this a top-down government? No. I wanted to come in 2015. We want to change that. We didn't want top-down. Jumps up and goes to tell the people in the background to be quiet. After saying to the people behind the camera, "Can you get?" And then he jumps up and goes and does it himself. I This man is he's a walking hypocrisy. It's let's close that one there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want that one out anymore. I'm pretty much out of things to talk about. I'm just kind of babbling on now.
Yeah, I think we should wrap it up.
I think we should wrap it up, eh? It's been an hour and a half. Yeah, I think I will. So, I want to wrap it up. After Trudeau's disinformation there, some can call it true facts, but I'm sorry he's using those facts deliberately intend to mislead you. He's trying to create a rift once again with false impressions of a fact that is not accurate. And after a year, he should have these facts down pat. And there should be none of this. He is directly impacting or trying to impact what's happening in the United States with his nonsense here in Canada. With his foolishness that he caused here in Canada.
Well, it isn't just him in the Liberal Party that's spewing that, because he said that in that talk. He spoke saying that it's the far-right MAGA. And I've seen multiple other videos from other Liberal MPs that say the exact same thing. They say Pierre Poilievre is just, part of MAGA. They basically reference MAGA to Pierre Poilievre. It's a MAGA, I think. Make America
I wrote manga.
great again. Yeah, make. That's something
Sorry.
else. Right wing. Is that it?
No,
could
I
look.
know the one you're talking about. I did see it, and I can't remember which one it is now.
Yeah, it's very recent.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Let me try to find it.
It was news. It was CBC. But I think it was a video.
I'm gonna keep looking for it, but
All right.
yeah. They're definitely told to just say, oh well, they're just trying to compare Poilievre to, Trump.
Yeah,
and things like that. But Pierre Poilievre is saying nothing like Trump does. So
Pierre Poilievre is talking about Canadians, and he's talking about relieving the stress on Canadians, and Canadians are responding in huge numbers to this. Where was it? I just saw it just a second ago. Nope, must have been before that. Straight out of the MAGA, Pierre Poilievre is silent on what? On Ukraine. I don't think Trudeau. I don't think Poilievre was saying don't fund the Ukraine war. I think what he was saying that with that one piece of legislation or the free trade agreement shouldn't be based on someone's climate action plan or whether they have one or not. He didn't even, I don't know, after whether Ukraine had one or not, it was irrelevant whether Ukraine has one or not. But I think what Polyev was trying to put in there is that if they have that in there, when he comes into power and he acts, that makes that that new trade agreement with Ukraine null and doesn't exist. So you're forcing his hand. So he's trying to set it up so that when he does come into power, he doesn't have to worry about it. The free trade deal is still there because there's no clause in it saying that you have to have a climate action plan in order to qualify for the free trade agreement. Is that not just due diligence and the proper way to do things? You know you're going to be removing this carbon tax off of Canadians. Whether Ukraine has one or not is irrelevant to the contract. The contract says that you must have one. Well, so what if Ukraine and Canada have one? Well, the problem is when Polyev becomes prime minister, he's going to have a tax, which puts him in conflict with Ukraine free trade agreement.
Right.
So then all of a sudden now we're on the hook for this free trade agreement that he's been clear about before the agreement even was signed. He's axing the tax. So you're forcing him to go defunct on an agreement you're creating for no reason. There's absolutely no reason for that statement to be in that trade agreement. So, yeah. I don't know. That's just
When I
yeah.
when I search Polyev on Facebook, the first thing that comes up is Polyev biggest mistake. I think a lot of the Trudeau supporters are looking for anything to latch on to.
Yeah.
But I did call my local MP, my federal MP, his office today to ask him about the EI and CPP going up. And
Yeah.
he didn't really say much. Not the MP, but at least the office. They said, there's no plan to lower it to, whatever it was beforehand. So I'm thinking it's still gonna, keep going up. And I mean, I think that might be just, how it is. They want to focus on the carbon tax, but still keep raising other taxes.
All right. Is it this one? I don't think this is going to be as easy to discern. Starting 2024, employees and employers will each contribute an additional 4% on earnings above the first earnings ceiling up to the amount of the second earnings ceiling, whatever. Where is it? I think it's up here. Okay, yeah. No, that's not the amounts. Where's the amounts? I looked this up
They
the
don't
other
make it
day
easy.
and totally forgot about it. Yeah, they do make it difficult. It's hard to look this stuff up when I'm on live because it's like I spend a lot of time going through. I actually read all this stuff before I.
Yeah, and I couldn't search it up either. I had to go to the Taxpayers Federation website to find
Yeah, I saw
the
an
information.
article on it, and I'm trying to find where that article is now. I don't think it's this one, but we'll go check this one. No, that's not it. It's basically like up to like Oh, here, maybe it's this one.
They said if you're making above, I think it's $73,000, you'll be paying $5,000 more.
Employee and employer CPP, 5.9, the maximum would be 3,000 a year, up from 34 whatever in 2023. Yeah, I don't remember. The employer
tell you they
pays a
don't.
lot more. I just can't remember where I saw that.
Well, it's the employer and the employee that each pays like 5,000 more or something like that. They each pay an equal amount more
Yeah.
each, which is a lot, and I'm not sure why people
Well,
aren't
no,
talking
it's
about it.
actually not much up for the employee. It really wasn't. It was like negligible. I think it was like maybe $10, $15 a week or something. I can't remember now. God, I wish I could find that. I didn't even think that this was an important thing. I wish I could find that article again. How it went up. It really wasn't as significant as it sounds when you, but when you look at what it actually broke it down into what the employer has to pay and what the employee pays. And the employee was like next to nothing, but the amount the employer was paying was like thousands of dollars more than the employee. It was actually quite a dramatic difference. I just don't remember where it was. It's probably on my phone, but if I do that, then you got to monitor chat till I get back here. Let me see if I can find it. No, it's not on my phone.
Well, I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah, I think so. We're just kind of babbling off into different directions now.
Let's go back to Roe versus Wade. No.
Oh yeah, you want to do that, right?
No.
See what he has to say.
Good.
All right.
I'm good.
All right. Alrighty. Well, thank you, Black Sheep, and I'm glad we could hear you this time. Wrong button.
Thank you, Windmoor.
Yeah. Glad you could join us, and nice talking with you, Frosty. And
Thank you for watching, everyone.
we'll see you all in the next one. Bye, everybody.
Welcome to the Fringe.